of course, one of the things is like, we're going to talk about the whole cycle we went through. And it was good that I had already started coaching with you with,
Yes.
what's her name? Julie and Carnegie Center, where I provide these classes. Uh, I think my story is kind of like similar in many of the situations. And it's a
Yeah.
good thing that you were like kind of like witness to all of this. Um,
Yeah.
but I also feel like, I don't know, this week I feel like I've been going through like an existential crisis. Like, no, seriously. And I'm going to tell you why. And it has bearing on like this situation has bearing on it, but then it doesn't either because I could care less. I could care less for $100 a week. I mean it. I can replace this class very easily. I know that. It might
Sure.
take like 2 to 3 weeks, but I mean, that's not a problem because any new place I go to, or even places I've worked with before and I return to them, they need some time to market the class and they need some time to put it on the schedule. And completely understand that. So no issues there. However, I I work hard. Like, I'm a hard worker. When I say that, I mean it's no joke because
Yeah.
I saw myself very recently in that full-time position with other people. They do 1/4 of the work than me, and
Yeah.
they're not even willing to put it, right? So that's one of the strengths. Second is I'm really good at judging people, like, as in
Yeah.
I'm self-aware. Let's just say that in a
Yeah.
good way. Like, self-aware, I understand what people are kind of like, even if they're not saying it, I understand what they're thinking, what's going on. Okay. So
Yeah.
another really good strength. Um, I mean, I am able to provide proof to people that I'm good at what I do, right? Uh, Third thing is like, I think, out of the box. Like, I think out of the box. I have great ideas. Like, even that is something that I've noticed a lot of other people don't have. Like, especially for women,
Yeah.
like they don't have that.
Right.
So then I don't understand, why do I keep on falling off the ladder?
Um, well, I think so what do you think? Why do you think you're struggling before I answer that?
I think it's I need more patience.
That's very self-deprecating, but okay, what else?
I mean, honestly, I can't understand. Or maybe I'm not taking into account that I just don't know. Like, I really think that people need way longer time than I am giving them. That's all I could think of. Like, I did think about it over the weekend. It's really well, my sleep quality has gone down. The reason I know that, it's really stressing me out because I'm doing everything right. I'm still working out. I'm in bed for the right amount of time, but my sleep quality just went way
Yeah.
down for the last 3 nights. And I, like, I remember waking up like around 4 a.m. or something like last night, and I was thinking of this whole like email chain, like subconsciously. So it's not good for me. Um, I just don't know. And the thing is, like, I have the ability to make really high level decisions, which I've started making. But then, I mean, I really don't know. I am at loss. Oh, like, I'm totally lost in that department.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I kind of need help. One of the things I think, well, which is a different story, is that I don't necessarily, I'm alone. I'm by myself. Like, and that is, I think it is also, it can be seen as a strength, it can be seen as a weakness, right?
Yeah.
So the problem is like I need people who are like me to work with. When I go into these circles, and I've tried really hard over the last 5 years, at least, right after COVID, when I started building this digital business, I need someone who's also at the same bandwidth as I am. And I'm
Yeah.
not finding many people. I'm not finding actually any people so far.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be very honest. I think they're very far and few between, and I'm making this conscious effort to do that, because I realized that in small town USA where I live, I'm never going to be able to find those. Okay, so I went to the big city and I'm now putting in more time in the big city. Yes, I feel a little more confident that I will eventually find those people. Hasn't happened yet.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
those are my two things. I don't know.
Okay, so first of all, you are going to struggle to find people like you because there's only about 3% of the world who's going to be like you. And we've talked about this in previous calls. You have to take into consideration that you are an owner. You are strategically in a place that your success is going to be owner to owner or executive to executive. And until you go into an organization top down, you are going to continue to feel this frustration. Your mindset has to be you are no longer an employee. You are an executive and owner of your organization, and you will mesh best with other leaders, executives, and owners. And the number one complaint of executives and owners is loneliness. That's why you hear people say it's lonely at the top. Because very few people think and act with that risk mentality. Because to own a business is one of the riskiest things you can do. It's also the highest return, it's the best feeling, it's the most freedom. But at the end of the day, most people will never understand what it's like to put your entire life on the line to take care of other people. They have no concept of what it's like to make payroll, put your life savings on the line for a concept that's not proven. Sorry, excuse me. Bye, love you. Um, any of those even minuscule decisions that you make on a daily basis, most people have never even given that thought process the time of day. None of those people have been caught up at night because somebody told them no and you're trying to fix it for the next person. They just get up and go to work for a paycheck. And by the way, they don't even give a shit if they are covering the cost it takes for them to go to work every day. They don't care. As long as that paycheck comes, they're okay with that. It's the definition of settling for mediocrity.
Yeah.
So you are always going to struggle with confidence. I will tell you, you will always struggle until you get into a group of people who are owner to owner. And in
Yeah.
fact, I will tell you, one of the first calls I had yesterday for Mother's Day was one of my dad's best confidants in life, widow. Because maybe you know this, maybe you don't. My dad was an incredibly successful business owner. He had a national trucking company. It was known for how technologically advanced they were in the 80s. And he grew it just through the roof. And in fact, in the trucking industry today, if you say Triton Transport, people go, Ted Price, right? And he's been gone for 14 years. And he's been out of the trucking industry for probably uh, 18 or 19 years. And so even today, people still say they were the leading technology when it came to trucking through the 80s. Okay. His best confidant also owned a trucking company, so owner to owner, and his daughter and that person's widow still are where those connections go. And that team of men who own 5 trucking companies are my mentors. So that's how much you have to get in and say, these are my people. And those men are millionaires, right? Like when I call and say, I'm developing a piece of technology, this is where it's at, whatever, they chew my ass up and spit me back out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I thought it was close. Like, damn, right? But if I need business advice, I sure as hell don't ask my retired firefighter husband. He just went to work every day and got a paycheck. So when businesses come to me and say, why, how do I do this? Why do I do this? And they choose me over somebody else who got their advice out of a book, it feels different because I've been there. I've risked. I know what it's like to lose. I've built multiple companies. We've sold, we've acquired, we've done all these things, right? So when you get there, you think like an owner. That's what makes you an asset. Does that make sense?
It does.
So you got to get out. You are with the wrong people. That is why you are struggling. And you kind of started to feel that way with Julie. You could tell like you were out negotiating her and she wanted to play with you.
Yeah, and I don't have time for this bullshit. I'm gonna be really honest. Like, I
Correct.
have so much on the line. Like, I'm investing in my business at this point, you know? Like it's
Correct.
coming out of my pocket.
Yes,
Or time or energy or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like,
exactly.
I don't have time for this BS on $100 a week, you know?
So when you got to the next manager and you got that really well written email that was like, okay, this is what it is, this is where you could go, you know, whatever. And I said to you when you sent it to me, like, okay, A, you got way more information there. You could tell it was a well written email. Like you obviously got a better decision maker,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You very clearly got a better opportunity to flex your muscles, like practice. And you did,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So you could see in real time, like, hey, there was the decision making authority right there. I was in the wrong, I was playing with minnows and I probably should have been with bigger fish.
Yeah.
Okay. So she gave you that chance. You answered you answered her and she handed it to you, right? Like she said, by the way, like who do you think you are? And she chopped you. Okay.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But if you go back and you read all of that, then the answer is okay, I need to elevate the people I'm talking to. So when you and I talk about here's the questions you ask and you're looking for emotional drivers,
Yeah.
then you need to make sure you're with the right person, the decision maker,
Sure.
and then you need to make sure you have a budget that's worth something for you.
Yeah.
You very clearly were with the wrong decision maker. Sorry, there's a weird glare on that.
Yeah, so I think this is where, and this is why I really need us to work on this situation or this case, because what's happening is not always. Now I'm having a little bit of better luck, I should say.
Yeah,
And I think this is exactly what I needed to learn in order to make better decisions going forward. I don't want to get stuck here again, and I do, because people just shove me to the bottom of the line, you know, or when I say bottom of the line, as in of their management, because they're like, ah, we don't want to deal with it. We don't know her. There's no
yep,
trust over here. There's no relationship. Like, you know, let me just send her to my whatever, let's just say VA, you know,
yeah,
just let
yeah,
me just
yeah,
send her, and they can deal with her, right?
correct. Yeah,
So, and I think I'm not good at setting those expectations right away. So what's happening
correct.
is when I'm going in, I don't know what well, I do know what I'm doing wrong, because I'm going to tell you what I did terrible, like, because I was so
Uh-oh.
preoccupied with all of this, and I think then that makes me really anxious. And yeah, but it all the result has been fine right now. For I did another wrong thing too, but what I'm noticing is like people do, not everybody, but in the past, they would just shove me to this person, like, this person who is probably their person to just push people away or test people, right? Which Julie is in this case for BXP, right? Um, then how will I ever go and work founder to founder? Like, tell me.
Well, so like I am a big personal relationship person, and people use me at the executive level because they know I am who I say I am. And I think you absolutely can go with that same concept. So we'll use one of my bigger clients right now. I actually was introduced at like the second level down, but my relationship with the executive director inside this organization is absolutely fantastic because I went in, I was introduced, here's the contract. Are you interested? And the first conversation I had with him was, what does this mean to me? And I was prepared at that point with all of these items, the strategic planning, the proof of my results, how hard of a worker I am, and the testimonials. So we'll get to that in just a second, because that's why those are the things you said were the good things about you. And I agree. And he and I built a relationship going forward. And in fact, I spoke to him before most of our days started this morning and said, hey, I need you here. Right. And he, completely unrelated to his business, I need an introduction. Yep, no problem. Can't send the email. I'll respond to it in the next 5 minutes. And I built a professional relationship, but with personal touches with him very quickly. And now, if I need something in his organization that I am not getting, it's literally a pick up the phone call. Hey, Jacob, did you know this has happened inside your organization? No, copy me on the email, Kat. And I get what I want, because it's not even so much that he needs to intervene, but that people don't want him to be aware. Right. So in this instance, had you had a personal relationship with Julie's boss, the second she started jerking you around, you could have sent that carbon copied email, and this could have very easily been fixed then. Maybe she would have offered you a contract through the end of the year right then, and this would have been done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I could have done that in this case. I'm just saying,
Correct.
like,
But you see what I'm saying, right? Anytime I'm in an organization, even if I don't already know the top dog, I'm gonna introduce myself, because the top of the chain is where you really do make an impact. They're the people who really do understand what you bring to the table, right? That's where you really would have wanted to have this decision, even if you have a signed contract. They're the ones that really would have understood this, right?
yeah,
Your impact, what assets you are, and could potentially give you a bigger project, introduce you, all the things.
sure.
So you have to be more comfortable walking up to somebody and saying, hey, by the way, thanks for the contract. Excited to work with you. If you're in there, if you're a stranger, if you're in a co working spot, any of those things. And some of this very easily could just be you have to be comfortable that you are worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where it ends up being, that I don't know, like you said, one of the things I think in one of the previous calls you said, oh, you have to kind of like pretend. And I'm not good at pretending, because but then that's the thing, like, then I stay here at this spot where I feel like, oh my gosh, I have so much to give. I'm so much better than other people around me who I see around me. But then yes, that worth thing comes, and I don't act like who I feel like I am.
Yeah. Why?
Because I just don't, I feel like I haven't done that yet. But I have to step into that role before I have done that.
In my experience, women who say that to me, and this is totally a female issue, is very rarely is this a guy issue. So this is totally a female
I
issue.
know, I know.
You guys say to me, well, I haven't done that yet. And actually, if you think about it, you probably have done it. And you're just being so damn hard on yourself that you just want just a little bit more proof. And if I was having this conversation with a man, they would have already taken credit 3 times over, whether they needed it, should have done it, or any other excuse. And that's why they are doing it. And they're less qualified.
Yes. Yes. I know.
Girl, just Nike that shit and do it.
Yes.
You are
Yes.
literally building software in your spare time. Most men struggle to button their pants in the morning.
Yeah, I know.
You can very, very cleanly prove the impact that you are having on other people's lives. Do we need to help you build like a one pager where you can say, this is what I have done, which is a proof of experience? Sure, absolutely. And I think that's very easy for you to do so that you feel like less imposter ish. Sure, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that you are incapable of stepping into a room, introducing yourself to a very powerful CEO and saying, "Hey, does this affect you? And by the way, if it doesn't affect you, you're probably just unaware. And who else do you know? I'm a beautiful, powerful woman, and you need me."
Yeah.
Because you're right. You are never leaving the spot you're in if you don't get over this.
Yeah. 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 So, okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I need to do that. And I did that last week. I did that at the co-working space. So Thursday, I was there Thursday and Friday. I worked out of there. And then Thursday, I didn't know that they were having like an event. Okay, I did know, but I didn't know that that's what the event was for. It said, oh, Medicare, Medicaid, some health companies coming to host an event. And I'm like, well, I don't deal with Medicare and Medicaid. So, I'm not signing up for it. But the good thing was that I was there. And that's what's the beautiful thing about, me putting in that time, even, paying money for a temporary rental over there to do this, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't keep on driving back and forth 2.5 hours every day. So I did, since I was there, and they were just doing like their I was so they have a co-working space on one corner of the room, and the other corner is where the event was happening. And I started hearing, oh my gosh, that they were all healthcare startups. So they had this meeting or event for these healthcare startups. This guy organizes it. This guy is responsible for matching these startups, startup founders with the investors. And then the investor was there. Like there were two investors, and they had like the special guest over there who is this high level manager of NIH. And I am like, oh my gosh, how come I did not sign up for this? Okay, but that's okay. I'm like, hey, Aesha, nothing is lost. It's okay. Just listen to what they're doing. Okay, what are they offering? What is going on? So I kept my ear over there. So this NIH guy comes up and introduces himself, and he's like, guess what? I do this for NIH, and we're really looking for he said, we are really looking for healthcare practitioners who are also looking to create tech. So that's why I'm here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is my guy. And then he's like, guess what? I also had like women's health department at NIH. And then he made fun of himself that he's like, he was like 6'5", white male. And he's like, yeah, I know what you're thinking, that I am the perfect person to head that department because I'm white and I'm 6'5". But I like to say I'm flexible. So everybody started laughing.
Jesus. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. Everybody started laughing, and then like, yeah, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
So and then he's like, oh, if you guys have any questions, come over to me. Now this room is full of 20, I would say average age 25-year-olds of
Okay.
working in New York City, trying to start things up. They have no idea what life is all about, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so there I was like, oh my gosh, Aisha, you have an edge here right away. So
Yeah.
and no, after he's done, he sat down on the couch, and it was kind of at the corner, and none of the guys came to introduce themselves to this NIH guy. And he said, and he told everybody that, hey, I have to hop on the train back to DC, so I'm here only for like 30 minutes. I'm like, Aisha, this is it. Go introduce yourself. Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I took my business card and I'm like, hey, Michael, I just heard you. I'm not part of this event. And I really had no idea what this event was about. So I didn't sign up. But this is what I do. I'm creating a longevity AI app, and I'm a speaker, and this is who I am. And he's like, oh, thank you. Thanks for introducing yourself. Let's connect. And I connected with him on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah. And he accepted it. I told him I have a podcast, and he's like, he was telling people in that room that he hosts a lot of NIH events in New York City. Like he was hosting a panel. He said that like in the upcoming week for women's health. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I should totally be in that room. Like, So,
Yeah.
so today, one of the goals I have is to reach out to him and see, like, hey, would you please? How can I find out about more events that NIH is hosting in the city, because I want to be part of them.
Yeah.
So all of that. But I did take that step. Then after the investor, the not the investor, the connector who actually was hosting this event, and he connects the startup founders with the investor, was busy, just talking to everybody else. Once he was done, I went up to him and I said to him, hey, I am just curious about like what this event is, how you're involved, like what your model is. And he told me he used to teach at NYU, their business school. And at their business school, he was doing this. He had the business students match up with an investor. He said he's no longer teaching at NYU, but he wanted to continue this work. So once he
Yeah.
found this spot, like this co-working space, he's like, okay, I'm going to start hosting it over here.
That's
And I was,
awesome.
yeah, and I was like, that is really awesome. So I
Yeah.
connected with him, and I told him like I'm developing a longevity AI agentic AI longevity app. And he's like, oh my gosh, I just had this guy here who is really looking for people. Oh yeah, NIH guy said that too. He said that we don't have people working on longevity tech. We need people who can create longevity tech. And
Mhm.
that's what was I was like, oh my gosh, and I'm already doing it. How come I mean, they should know about me. So I went and introduced myself to him. He introduced me. Like, he didn't tell me, but right away, like next morning, somebody reached out to me and said, we are having these two panels at New York City tech event, and we want you to come and attend.
There you
So
go.
yeah, so there I'm in those panels, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you're sorting this out. You're getting frustrated, which I will tell you does not feel good when you're in this spot. But frustration is probably the best motivator when you're in the spot that you're in, right? Because it feels good when people are giving you money. Even if it's not enough money, it feels good. You're like, oh, I'm doing things right, right? And then you're less inclined to make drastic changes when you're getting the affirmation of, oh, it seems to be working, right? Like, I'm just going to keep doing this. And that's okay. Like, it's never sad when people give you money, but you, my dad used to tell me, slam your hand in the door, get pissed off, and go make a good move. And I would get so aggravated with him when he'd say it. And I'd be like, but I don't want to be mad. Like, I just want to make good business decisions. And he was actually right. I make some of my best business decisions when somebody has royally pissed me off or somewhat tried to screw me, successfully or not. And then I'm like, you know what? This is not working anymore. We're going to be make some adjustments. And it, like, hopefully I didn't lose a bunch of money in it, but sometimes a client gets after me and I'm like, excuse me, who do you think you are? Like, I tried to be flexible with you. I tried to take good care of you because that's who I am as a person. I want to take good care of my people. But then it's like, you know what? Here's the line. We're going to go ahead and draw the line. And I think that's kind of what you did with this corporate park. you
Yeah, yeah.
know you were trying to do the right thing by them, but also manage a boundary, which is something you're working on really well, and you do it better than I do, honestly. And they crossed it, and it's like, okay, you know what, we're done here. And by the way, I needed to make a move anyways, because you did. You're in the wrong group of people. You're not in
Yeah.
a high enough decision making network. And you have to shed people sometimes to be able to take on the weight of others. You know that. We've both been
Yes.
divorced.
Yes.
You got to get rid of stuff to be able to take on the next thing.
And I think that's where I'm at. Like, and I don't know if like my personal experiences also play like such a big role here, because
Sure.
one of the biggest takeaways I had from my personal experience was like, we had so much friction for so many years, and I just
Yep.
kept
Yeah.
going and thinking it will get better. And now I'm at that point where as soon as I start seeing that kind of friction, I
Yeah.
don't want to breed it even further and lose time, because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in my 20s anymore, Kat. Like,
Preach
I,
that, girl.
no, I'm just saying, like, I
Yeah.
have this where that's where I came up with the whole patience thing. I'm like, I have a sense of urgency, which I know other people might not have in my position.
Mhm.
And I don't know
Yeah.
if that's probably not serving me well.
Well, I think, listen, the best thing that you can do is have an awareness of it.
Yeah.
And I think if you're aware that that sense of urgency can have pros and cons, then you'll be okay. I have another client this morning that is absolutely a scheduling nightmare. And yesterday, while I was working, I started pushing some buttons on them. And this morning, it came back that they're not handling the situation right. I stood in the bathroom screaming and hollering about a client this morning. Craig was like, "What the hell is the problem?" So I'm venting at him. And he's like, "Okay, so are you good? Or are you going to take somebody's head off this morning?" I'm like, "I think I'm good. I just need a few minutes." So, I mean, I know that there are other people out there that don't do business like I do. I serve at a much higher level than most people. But at the same time, I have to be able to do business with people like that and help raise the bar. So it's a double edged sword. I can scream and yell at my husband and vent at 7 o'clock in the morning while we're getting ready to go. And then when it comes to helping other people do business at a higher level, I have to approach that without my Irish temper. Right. So you're going to figure that out. But I will tell you that when I sent that email this morning, trying to help people understand that the process wasn't correct, everybody was copied on that email from the top down,
Got it. Got it.
because I have the relationships that say, hey, by the way, we're trying to be better and we're doing this cat's way.
Okay. Cool.
Does that make
So
sense?
it completely does. It does. No, this is really good. Okay. I know we are coming up on time, and I do want to understand what do I need to send them back? Like, what email do I need to send? Oh, and this is where I think my biggest blockage is going to be this business communication too. Not only, I mean, I understand the self-worth or, just fake
Yeah,
it till you make it, whatever. Like, I can do that part. I think once I have a couple of small wins, I feel confident that, oh, okay, I can do this. And I'm getting those wins. It's not a problem.
sure.
Um,
Yeah.
the problem then what happens is like maybe I'm not able to communicate well, and I think that is a problem. Not a problem, a skill I have to learn. So I'm going to read out the email that she sent me on Friday, Kelly, where she's
Yeah.
you know canceling the contract. She said, after reviewing your questions and considering the alignment of our respective business models, we have decided not to move forward with a long-term contract. At this stage, it is clear that our operational requirements do not align with your professional expectations. To clarify, BXP views fitness offerings as a complementary amenity for our clients, not as a fixed corporate service contract for essential infrastructure like HVAC or food service. Comparing an optional wellness class to primary building operations is not an accurate parallel. We have always involved seasonal pauses and attendance-based reviews, specifically because client interests and occupancy levels fluctuate daily. As you noted that the current structure is a strain on your business compensation and time, we believe it is best to conclude our partnership. We will finish out the remaining classes in the current session through June 3rd. We appreciate the energy you have brought to the classes over the last few months and wish you the best.
Okay, so what do you want to say to her other than go take a flying leap?
Uh, I honestly, I was thinking, I don't know if do I need to reply at all?
Well, I think you should because it's good form.
Okay.
Um, so I would probably respond. Um, so I think you need to address a couple things. You need to address the fact that they didn't think that paying vendors was an accurate parallel. That's not accurate. That your occupancy levels vary. Did your occupancy levels vary when you were teaching that class? Weren't you packed every week?
Yeah, I was.
Okay. Um, and
I think she's mentioning the occupancy levels of their buildings, like how many rentals they have. But that's the whole point I made with her. Like if you have happier renters, like you're gonna get renewals, right? I mean, and she's of course she can't see that.
and then the idea of seasonal pauses was not ever brought up.
Brought up, yes.
In fact, pop-up classes were offered,
Yeah.
and not um, followed up. So if I replied, I would touch on these three things. So I would probably say something along the lines of, I appreciate the correspondence. Communicating with you has been the most thorough information that I've received in trying to do business with your organization. And I appreciate that. To address some of your points, my question about your other vendors was simply in how you go about compensating vendors, not so much in the difference between maintaining your buildings and maintaining those that occupy them. So, my apologies if there was a misunderstanding in the written word. And I would totally put it on misunderstanding the written word.
Mm.
Um, the the occupancy of your classes seemed to exceed those of any other instructor that you had been made aware of? And
Say
to
that
your
again.
knowledge,
The occupancy of
your classes. I would talk about this being in reference to your classes
my
first.
classes. Okay, occupancy of my classes has been
Mhm.
uh considerably higher, you would say,
If not
in comparison to.
to other instructors who had little to no attendance in
Mhm.
the past. And in your experience, has been used with other clients to improve their ability to sell space as a wellness forward leasing facility. But unfortunately, those conversations were not welcomed when you tried to have them. I would I would pin it on Julie. Um, and then I would probably say something along the lines of, in conclusion, I'm incredibly frustrated that your communication was the first time you had heard about seasonal pauses, when in fact, other conversations had included adding classes and increasing the offering to include pop up classes and other modalities, where you had even gone as far as sending your certifications
Mhm.
to help them. And now this communication was far from anything that was being communicated prior. And then I would probably end it with the miscommunication or the misalignment in communication seems vast here. And I apologize for not looping you into the communication sooner, because it seems like this conversation was the most thorough. Please let me know how I can communicate this with my class, because at the end, many of your attendees will be very disappointed. Thanks for the opportunity to this date, and I would sign it. I would not say anything about I'm interested in doing business in the future. I would not say anything about this is how you reach me, or how you're going to communicate with your class at the end of the class, because you don't want them to tell you you can't tell people how they find you.
No,
Does that
but
make
you
sense?
just hang on. But the last sentence kind of like suggested that. How do you want me to communicate this to the class?
You want them to tell you, don't say anything. So remember over here when we said wide open questions make them talk?
Okay.
Who, how, when, no yes or no's.
Yes.
So you want to ask them a question that says, how? You tell me how. So if they say, oh, we'll do it, and they don't do it, you're going to put a newsletter out anyways, right?
No, I understand that. But so if I'm giving them the permission now here to tell me what to say to the students, I think then I'm taking that power away from myself. I'm not necessarily, what I had thought was like, I really liked your idea where you said, oh, let them know that we couldn't renew the contract, right? And since they all have my email, and I can always give my business cards out, that's not a problem. At the end of the class, hey, this is my business card, my email is here, you might have seen my email come through in the newsletters, I'm sure you have it. I would love to provide something similar to your organization, if you ever need help, like, something like that. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, then just change that last line to I will begin communicating with the class this week that this class will not be continuing, period.
Okay.
And don't give them a say.
Yeah, no, I don't want to give them that permission.
Okay, then just change that last line to I will begin communicating because you said June, right? They said June.
June 3rd is the last class because next week I'm at the conference presenting, so I have two classes. Well, this class, yeah, I don't know. I have three classes left.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then I would just say I will begin communicating this week that the class will not be continuing. Period. And let them come back and say, "Oh, the class will continue. We have a new instructor or whatever." But you still are going to say, "Well, like the information is, I will begin communicating this week." Period. And what you're trying to get to happen is for them to come back and say, for her to come back and say, I didn't know all these things. Or for her to come back and say, what do you mean you didn't know all this? But you don't want to automatically say, please let me know what I can do to work with you forward. You're not saying that either. Because if
No.
they come back to you, the answer is, I want a 1-year contract. I want $115 per class, and I am no longer dealing with Julie. Hard stop.
Yeah.
So you cannot feel needy in this email. You're
No.
literally laying out, this is why I do business the way I do it. I appreciate these things about what you have said to me. Please excuse my miscommunication, but I'm frustrated here. And this is why these things have come to fruition. But, I appreciate the business up until this point. This is what I'll do going forward. Please advise if you need anything else from me. Hard stop.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Does that make sense to you why we do it that way?
Yes. 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 Okay. I will need this language a little bit.
That's okay. I'll
Can
get you I'll get you a recording pretty quick. My next appointment canceled, so as soon as this
you?
uploads,
Okay.
I'll get it
Oh,
to you.
okay, great, great. Okay. Okay, great. Now I also want to touch upon the email that I sent, and I just want to know for future purposes. I understand it was reading rough, and again,
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, I have one win a day, which I know people don't even have that. I know I'm so like analytical and critical here, but and I have 5 losses a day. So this is one of the big losses that day. It wasn't the only loss. And
Yeah,
this is where it's really difficult being by yourself and making these high level decisions
yeah,
because I mean, I am communicating with the that day, that particular day, like Thursday, Friday, I communicated with like 10 other people who wanted to be on my podcast. I was trying to figure out like, what I will do in a good way. I'm getting a lot of response for my podcast, but hey, that's okay. I'm kind of running behind on the slide deck for my conference presentation. I had to sit in traffic for 2 hours outside Holland Tunnel on top of all of this. I'm just saying, like, this wasn't, oh, yeah. And then the co working space, I'm trying to start offering something to their members because the tier I signed up for, which is their lowest tier, they won't allow me to do the public events at that time, at that place until I saw the event happening on Thursday evening. I wasn't even sold that I should put in that kind of money at that place. Like there are thousands of other co-working spaces like this. So then
yeah.
I was already like, okay, I want to dip my toes, see what's going on over here. Prior to that, I was like, these are all the people who have no idea what they want to do with their fucking life. So I mean, I don't want to be among them. I need founders. I need investors who can actually invest in founders such as myself. So when I saw that event, when I met up with those two people, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, Aisha, if this is the only group you belong to here and you are more in communication with, you're going to go far. This is the right spot, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is like this email was one of the emails that I was dealing with. Then so this has all happened on Thursday, Friday morning. Then she comes back with that really, stupid email. So this is what I sent back to her. Have the seasonal stops been implemented in the past? When have you ever had less than 10 attendees for a wellness offering, and how was that handled? I'd like to know how many weeks of grace period were allocated to the instructor in case of low attendance, because I'm thinking of situations where circumstances are out of instructor's control. Please help me understand why this Pilates program is still in pilot phase. And I thought that this was the right question to say. And I think you agreed. After 5 months of
Yeah.
classes and excellent engagement levels, I'd like some clarity on what would help this Pilates class graduate from the pilot phase. I'd like some insight on how far out you are your other contracts with other vendors, for example, food vendors, HVAC, and other wellness vendors, to give you some backdrop on the question. I'm professional in my professional experience. Corporate vendors work on annual contracts with an advanced hold so that they can balance their sheets and not have to wait for accounts payable. I'm looking forward to building an even stronger wellness community at Carnegie Center. This is my response prior to what she answered, right?
Right. Yeah. You sent me a screenshot of that one.
So if you don't mind spending a few extra minutes, and I can always, I can say we can count this as two sessions. I don't care. I need to understand this. What is wrong here?
She tipped on you based on the fact that you compared building maintenance to wellness. That's where she tipped on you.
Yeah, but I mean, because I don't know the other wellness well, actually, Julie did tell me that they do annual contracts with the other wellness instructors too.
Yes, and based on what you've read to me now, and I've told you this before, this is a Julie problem. This is most likely not a you problem at all.
Oh my gosh, Kat, how can I tell you? I run into Julies everywhere.
I know, but what did I tell you when you told me that last time? They pin you as a fitness instructor.
But I mean, in that moment, that's what I'm offering. Where is this situation wrong? Like, help me understand that.
So what's the difference between a fitness instructor and what you are doing? Tell me what the differences are.
I'm giving them a newsletter. They're getting fresh podcast episodes.
Bigger.
I'm a wellness consultant. I'm giving them wellness tips. I'm creating better health and better days in their life. The day they're with me, they're happier. They're more productive. They feel good that they belong to this corporate park.
Okay. You're improving leasing numbers and offerings. You're consulting on their healthcare. You have an impact on their PTO. You got to think bigger, Aesha. You're not big enough. You are not a fitness instructor. Come on, girl. You have to be able to go into a company and say, through these classes, this is what an owner gets. This is what a company gets. Yeah. You told her, when you work with me and we market this correctly, you're able to say your leasing numbers improve.
Yes.
Right? That's the type of stuff you have to be able to say. If you're in a corporation, their PTO is better utilized. Their HR department improves. You're actually consulting with their healthcare departments. I don't know what all the things are that you say, but this list is what makes you more than a Pilates instructor.
Yeah.
That's why you're struggling when somebody says to you, or you say to yourself, I'm not there yet. You are there. There's all of these things. Somebody says this to me and they're like, oh, so you do social media. The hell? I do social media because there are companies out there that can't do what I do and still charge you 50 grand. I do social media out of necessity. I would prefer to never build another social media post in my entire life. But I go in and help these companies literally restructure everything. And because of that, we post their fucking social media. I hate doing that, but I do it because it helps the company and then follows the strategy, right? You go in, you do all of this healthcare assessment, you fix all of these metrics. Oh, and by the way, you will teach their Pilates class. You will do their CrossFit. You will do their cycling and spinning. You will do all these things. But this is a byproduct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what are all of these things? And by the way, you were going to get this as homework anyways. I just didn't realize we were going here. You have to decide all of these things that you want to do inside an organization and a company. And then you get to say, by the way, I am also certified to do these classes and I love them. They're awesome. But this is not my job. My job is to fix all this craziness for you that nobody can do, should do, or it does well.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
These items most likely should be on your one pager.
Yeah.
Along with these items, you should make a list of all the things that should go on it, proof of results. So if you have some, like we say, we've got a couple of screenshots of like crazy results that we've provided 100% improvement week over week in these metrics, right? Or just absolutely insane things. We've got screenshots of them. We put them on this one pager. Testimonials of people that you've worked with that say, hey, Aisha did these things for me. This is what she did. She did these things for my customers, my clients, my location, just a couple of them, like 3 or 4. And then I would start labeling yourself places as an emerging longevity tech expert.
Yeah, that I kind of came to conclusion after Thursday. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sharing my LinkedIn, and guess what? It doesn't say that I'm the strategist, like the longevity AI strategist or health tech founder. And I'm like, fuck, I need to work on that.
So I would say emerging longevity technology expert is what I would say.
Okay.
I would not put yourself out there in the AI realm quite yet. It's got a little bit too much stigma in it.
Okay.
And you can use this for a lot of things.
Mm,
It
okay.
falls inside your obesity track. It falls inside your fitness track. It falls inside a lot of things. But if you push into AI, you're going to inadvertently pigeon toe yourself. So be real careful before you go that way. But if you say tech, I think you might be okay.
Okay.
It's just a
Okay.
thought. I mean, you obviously, you do whatever you think is best, but I would consider something like this.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Yeah. This is good. I had like this, I had this call, she canceled. And I mean, this is where I'm like, and now I know better. Like, patience, patience, patience. If somebody's trying to act up, it's their job. I need to move on. I will have other vendors who can sponsor my podcast. I had this call booked with this person. It's a cold contact kind of. I don't know.
Okay.
I met her at a networking event. I can't remember where and when. It's probably been over a year, so that's why I couldn't place her
Oh,
name. But I have been receiving her newsletter. She has another co-founder, but she sends the newsletter. Ellen is her name, and she's the founder of sour milk. So they have a very specialty a brand yogurt, and it's very high in protein, no sugar. Like they don't even use sugar to ferment it. So it's really, really good. So
Oh,
the, the, I don't know, a month ago, as I was in that mindset of looking for sponsors, and I opened her newsletter and I'm looking at her newsletter. I went on her Instagram. I'm looking at her Instagram. They are a smaller company. And I'm like, this is going to be a great partnership. Like, I need to reach out to them. And they are based in Brooklyn. And I'm like, okay, great. This is awesome. You know what? I can take this brand so many places. Like, this is where they should be able to invest in my podcast. But let's see if she wants to be on my podcast and do a partnership episode. And then we can see. I think I could see and feel the energy. I was like, oh my gosh, these are the kind of people I need to work with. She's kind of like my same age group, has the same founder mindset, has been through really hard times. Like that's what she shares in her newsletter, like how they started selling out of a cooler outside Central Park. And I'm like, this is it. These are my people, right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I reach out to her, and right away I had to reach out twice, which is fine, because I had to text them on, message them or DM them on Instagram to make sure that, this is not spam, because emails are now I get so
Yeah.
many spam emails, so I don't blame them.
It's insane. Yeah.
She booked the call, but then she had some doubts about me and she canceled the call this morning. So yeah. And then I'm like, because she said, she's sick, but that's the worst excuse people can make when they say they don't want to talk. So I was in my CrossFit class. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, oh, your rescheduling link. I need to reschedule. Your rescheduling link is broken. So I got back to her, and none of this is fake, because I've told you, like, I am getting so many emails for my podcast. So I said to her, hey, I hope you feel better. She said she has laryngitis. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, it doesn't sound good. I hope you feel better. Yeah, open to rescheduling. The reason the link is broken is because I had to go in yesterday and block my calendar, because I'm totally booked for podcast interviews till end of July. Here's my private link, which I've kept open for very few people. If you'd like to, we can hop on a call. And that's it, right? Feel better soon. That's it. That's what I sent. And now she's like having cold feet. So she's sending me, you probably noticed me looking at my phone. And now she's like sending me 1,000 like messages, or how on the calendar you can decline and accept and decline and accept.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, bitch. Now you're going to wait.
I make people wait like that too.
So
if you are a good client of mine, you can pretty much, I will make time for you on my calendar, even if you get 30 minutes. But people who are high maintenance, man, you wait.
Yeah. When I told you that I have so much, honestly, I introduced her to the biggest running groups in New York City, and she will be in every store in New York City. So I realized that what she's working on from her newsletter and her website, I went in, did a deep dive, was that she needs to be in more grocery stores, right? Which any retail product person would want to be.
Yeah.
And when I told her I will bring her here in Pennsylvania, I have reached in New York City, I will do that. What the fuck?
I'm telling you, that's how you know you're ready to be in the next level of people. That's it. That's how you know.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I'm making so many decisions. So when these kind of like Julie people come to me and I'm like, oh my gosh, you just drained my battery for half of the day.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a couple things. First of all, don't burn those bridges, because like you have discovered, they are connected. And so you always want people to be able to say, well, we don't work with her anymore, but she was gracious about it. That's why I'm telling you to respond to that email. You can be curt, but respond. You don't ever want anybody to be able to say, well, she's just stopped communicating. Nope, can't say that about me. I think that you're poor at business, but I did communicate with you all the way through to the end. So that's number one. Number two, I will say great business people will tell you you get 10 no's to every two yeses. So the things that I hear you saying tell me with confidence that you are doing all the right things. People who say, "Oh, I'm in business because it makes me feel good." They either are shitty business people or they're lying through their teeth. Like full stop. Every day is the largest amount of letdowns and enough yeses to just encourage you to keep going. It's there's no business person in the world who stays in business because they get so many affirmations that they just can't. It's like the eternal high. No fucking way. We're all getting our asses kicked every day, unless like your spouse is running it and you're just getting a paycheck. Like that's just how it is. But at the end, typically there's enough. You get the client who's like, "Oh, God, Aesha, I like you saved my life." Like you'll see me on LinkedIn every once in a while, and I'm on there like telling people like, "You're doing a great job. Thanks so much for being you." Like I was on Kate Donovan's page the other day and she put a thing on there about the swelling of your brain and spots like that. And Kate at one point really did save my business because I was totally burned out, whatever. And I always give her tons of kudos for when she posts the strategies and stuff of hers that I use, because none of us have somebody in our ear going, "Oh my God, you're awesome today. Oh my God, thanks for being you." We're all getting our asses kicked, so it's going to keep happening. You just have to remember that there's enough positivity at some point in the day to get you to keep going. Like these are the
Yeah.
things that say this is what being a business owner entails. It's not great, but you got to get yourself up in these people. The last thing I will leave you with is these two men that you met at that cohort the other day. You need to go to both of them and ask them what other co-working places they go to.
Okay.
So if you are unsure and you have a gut feeling that that co-working spot might not be great, like you're just I would go to those two guys and I would say, "Would you mind if I ask you if there's other co-working places that you see executives or the audience is different or better than what you saw here?"
Got it. Okay. I'll have to figure it out what should be the timing of that though.
Yeah, just see, because when you find people who are testing the water or investors that are going, then ask them, like, "What do you know?" Because business owners that are great, that are further down the path than you are, they want to help you.
Yeah.
They're not in competition with you. They want to help you. So just ask them like, "Hey, where do you know? Where else do you go?"
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Makes
Okay?
sense.
And see.
So yeah, and the other good thing was like I think that's why they kind of like liked me and they're like they both wanted to connect with me. So there were 70 attendees. They were all male.
Dale Pale and Male, baby. Yeah.
And this is New York City, which is considered diverse and better with women's rights and stuff. I'm just saying, like, this is main New York City. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where are the female founders? Like, there's nobody. So that's why when I approached, and remember the comment Michael, his name is Michael from NIH made, like, oh yeah, they couldn't find anybody who was capable enough, a woman, to take the role of heading women's health department at NIH. Can you believe that?
Yes. Yes, Aisha, everyone else is doing the same thing you are in terms of judging themselves. Everybody else is standing back going, "You know what? I need one more piece of proof that maybe I'm ready." So if they're all doing what you're doing and they're all completely capable, but y'all are standing back there going, "I'm just not quite, maybe not me, not, no, not yet." Then you have to be the one that goes, "You know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it. I am ready because Kat promised me I was ready." Blame it on me. I don't care, girl. I know you're ready. Just go fucking do it. Everybody else is standing back there just like you are, waiting for somebody to lead the charge. Go do it. I believe in you. I don't blow bullshit. You know I don't. There was no women in that room because they are petrified.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I have a daughter
that
who
has to
fights it.
change. That
I
has
100% it has to change. If we don't do it, who the hell is going to do it, girl? You can do it. I promise you. I know the last couple of years have been an absolute beating. It was a physical beating when I did this. He whooped my ass. It took me 10 fucking years to get on my feet again. I do not tell you this without all of my soul. You can do it. It took me 10 years to believe that somebody else wasn't going to throw me through a set of doors, girl. But I'll be goddamn. My daughter does believe that that's not okay, and she can walk into any fucking room she wants. You can do it. The 19-year-old us that was having babies and getting married and doing shit too young, you can go tell her you do this now.
yeah.
And you can tell her that you're a badass at it. It doesn't, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it is one of the best fucking experiences ever.
I know. It is.
I promise.
Yeah. And I know I can get through it. Like there's so much proof that I have against it. So yeah, that's
And
true.
they're welcoming. They're not that scary.
No, no, it's not. I think I'm the one who like has more self-doubts, and I think that's what ends up showing whenever I appear more confident and like I said, I approached them. They were very welcoming. They were fine.
Mhm.
It's
It's
when
not a them problem.
it's a me problem. Yeah, yeah,
It's an us problem. Oh, girl, I'll give it to you. It's an us problem.
yeah, yeah.
But this isn't a lack of deserving. This isn't a lack of hard work. You just have to step forward and do it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But in the in my podcast world, though, things are going well, so which is a good thing. It's going really well. If you remember, I told you I want to plan the rest of my year. I mean, I think I can because I'm totally booked almost till August. I am giving out bonus episodes at this point, and at some point I have to stop that because then, you know, I mean, I have to work on my app. I have to work on my speaking as well. So yeah, I'm trying to figure that balance out right now. But yeah, podcast is doing really well. So something that I invested in, and I think that gives me a platform to bring people and network with people. I think that was what I really enjoyed about doing the podcast early on. And that's paying well. So that's a good thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You have a proof of concept. You know what you do is worth it. You just have to figure out a way to say this instead of, I'll teach your Pilates class.
absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you so much for spending time.
Of
And I'll
course.
I'll keep the Thursday call because
Okay.
I need to, and I think I'm gonna probably have somebody else I met with at the co-working space to understand like the sponsorship opportunities in New York City. She said that she's pretty good at it. I have to research on her, but
Okay.
I also need to understand like again when to pull back, like I'm doing now with this person, right? I reached out, everything was going well. Okay, you have cold feet, let go, right? But then where does it come the point like, okay, you say, okay, I mean, I do need partners, right? So like where does that friction, is too much friction, like would happen here with
Yeah.
Julie's case, right?
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that. I'll leave your Thursday on. Everybody has like the minor notice that if Kayla goes into labor, I'll send you a quick note and cancel it. But she's not due till the 8th, or she's not set for induction until the 18th. But I do still have you for Thursday, so we'll leave it.
That's awesome because next week I can't do a call anyways because that's my
Yeah.
week for the conference and everything. Okay,
Okay. All
that's
right.
great.
Awesome. I'll
And
send you a recording here in just a little bit.
please, thank you, so that I can refresh those pointers we talked about and send an email out. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good. Okay. See you
Awesome.
soon.
See you.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.